Continuing coverage now on breaking news on Detroit's east side, where 6 firefighters are injured. Parts of the area are being evacuated because of smoke, as you can see with that shot as we bring you high from the sky.
Right, it looks really hazy because of all that smoke. We want to toss to Action News reporter Michael Rosenfield, who is live at the scene right now. We're looking at live shots from Chopper 7. Actually, we're going to stay with this for just a second longer. I know Michael, we'll get to him in a moment. But as you can see here from the air, there is still smoke coming from this building here on East Jefferson. Again, the road is closed between Alter and Dickerson because of the activity here trying to fight this fire. What happened earlier, more than 2 hours ago now, as they were trying to fight this fire, they were pulling some wood from a wall when a 2-story brick wall actually collapsed on top of a number of firefighters. We were talking to one witness, Robin Kyle, who happened to be driving by at the time, and he said he literally saw firefighters rushing, moving bricks aside and pulling firefighters from the rubble. Some of them had, blood coming down their faces. So obviously some of the injuries were bad. 4 firefighters in critical condition. That's what we know right now. 1 had been treated and released. They are at 2 different hospitals.
Yeah, this described as a 2-alarm fire at last check. Also, the building, Alicia talking about the first building on fire. We also have reports that a second building right next to it on fire, as well as firefighters trying to get those blazes under control, giving you that shot. As you can see, just an impressive sight, and shows you the damage, and it also shows you the amount of work that's going in to try to contain this fire at that corner. Lots of people witnessing this, seeing it from the roads. We do want to remind you to send your video, send your pictures to WXYZ.com. We'll be showing those throughout the day, and of course giving you updates updates as soon as we get that information coming in. At this point in time, we're going to send it over to meteorologist Sean Ash. He's been telling us about everything that's been going on with this fire, including the Ozone Action Day. Sean, if you could fill us in.
Well, what we'll talk about is that obviously when you have a fire, you start to talk about wind, wind direction, wind speed. Where will this smoke plume go? Now, what I want you to think of is a hot air balloon. You take the hot air, it rises. Well, in this situation, unfortunately, we're not going to get a lot of vertical motion right now, this time of the day, because of the atmospheric setup. Now, I've got visible satellite. This is basically just a snapshot of what it would look like from outer space. We're going to dive in little by little. Couple of things to point out. Now, at City Airport, which is not too far away from where the fire is at this point in time, it's a northeast wind, albeit very light at 3 miles per hour. So it's very possible, and if you'll notice up the road in Mount Clemens, that flow is light, but it's from the east. So let's dive back in. We'll continue to work in, and again show you on the east side. You can see the clouds are very, very thick, and obviously some of this is probably just some cloud cover, but also from the smoke plume. And so as I dive in a little bit farther into where between Connor Street and Chalmers, there's East Jefferson. So basically, I think this plume is probably going to sit over the area and possibly drift toward the west a little bit because of the wind right now. It's a light wind. So we're talking, areas, let's kind of expand the map here. So this would be areas that live downwind from East Jefferson. So if that were the case, that might take it into the north side of Detroit, Hamtramck, possibly Highland Park. But right now the flow is just very light, guys, very light.
Yeah, tough that this happened on an Ozone Action Day. Tough that happened at all. Again, 6 firefighters hurt while battling this fire at a strip mall complex that involved a party store, a beauty shop, and a cell phone store. We're going to go now live to Action News reporter Michael Rosenfield. You actually had to be moved while they're fighting this fire, right, Michael?
Yeah, guys, and that's why we're on the phone right now. As you've been watching, we were live on Jefferson Avenue this morning, but now they have just upgraded this to a chemical fire. I'm not sure why. It could be from the chemicals inside the beauty store. That was one of the stores that has burned down this morning. So everybody who was on Jefferson Avenue at Dickerson is now being evacuated, including ourselves, and we're moving to the other side of this fire, on the other side of Copland Street. As you've been watching all morning, thick black smoke can be seen all over Jefferson Avenue after a fire and explosion at this strip mall this morning. I'm told by the fire department that 6 firefighters were injured. 1 has since been treated and released. That's the good news. But 4 are in critical condition, and they've been sent to local hospitals. The union president told me he's on his way to visit all of the injured firefighters to see exactly how bad the injuries are and exactly what kind of condition they are in. But we're also being told that 4 are in critical condition this morning. So they were apparently fighting this blaze at this strip mall this morning. It houses a Metro PCS cell phone store, a beauty shop, and a liquor store. There was a fire, an explosion. They were pulling plywood off of the building when one of the walls collapsed on top of the firefighters. They had to be rescued and pulled out by their fellow firefighters out here on the scene. The strip mall is at the corner of Jefferson and Copland. Right now, the road, Jefferson, which as we know is a very busy commuter route, is closed down between Alter and at least Dickerson, maybe to Connor at this point, because the smoke continues to get worse and worse. And as I told you, they've just upgraded this to a chemical fire, and that's why we're moving ourselves. And in fact, we can now smell the smoke even much worse than we could just a few minutes ago. That's why they're evacuating everybody who was kind of watching this scene unfold here at Jefferson and Dixon. Right next door to that strip mall is a vacant apartment building. A lot of people might be familiar with it. It's called the Applegate Apartments. It's been vacant for a couple years now, so nobody lives inside the building. Across the street is the Go Lightly Vocational Building. A lot of people know that one as well. Thick black smoke can be seen from quite a distance here. It keeps getting worse and worse. At some points, it completely covers up Jefferson Avenue, making it impassable to traffic, even if this road was open. And again, we're packing up because the smoke is getting much worse here. Again, they have just upgraded this to a chemical fire. We're loading up our live truck here. We're going to move to the other side of the fire where they're advising us to go. So we'll be able to bring you some live pictures from the ground in a short bit. Back to you guys.
All right, Michael, I don't know if you have time to answer the question. If you don't, just continue on with the job that you guys are doing so well out there. I'm just curious, can you see from your vantage point if the firefighters are making quick progress? We're showing people pictures right now, aerial shots of the fire, and the firefighters trying to put the fire out. You talk about the black, thick smoke on the street filling up Jefferson. Does it look like any progress is being made?
It's hard to tell from my angle right now, but again, we're moving and we'll actually be able to get a better angle from the ground in a few minutes here. But the smoke is getting a lot thicker, and I think that's why they're evacuating here, because it started flowing down Jefferson, where I've been all morning, and we had no problems at all. But just in the last few minutes, it has spread big time, and it's kind of getting in our throats here. It's a little bit more difficult to speak, and I think that's why they decided to evacuate all of the media as well as all of the onlookers here, and they're extending the road closure from Dickerson down to Connor Road right now, because that maybe the smoke from the wind has just kind of taken a new direction and flowing down Jefferson Avenue right now, and that's why they wanted to evacuate all these people. But so we're moving right now to the other side of Jefferson, to the other side of Copland. That's where they're advising us to go, so we can get some new ground shots for you. We'll have that in a little bit, and I'm really not sure. I can't tell you if they're making progress or not. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like there's still a ton of smoke over Jefferson Avenue right now. I can't tell you for sure, though, about the flames, though.
Thank you very much. Michael Rosenfield reporting live from the scene. We're going to let you move to your different location, a safe distance away that is approved by the firefighters. We want to look, this is a different live picture that we have here. Obviously, a crew just getting the camera set, but yeah, you can just see that kind of murky, yellowish smoke coming out of there. And as Michael mentioned, they just upgraded this fire to a chemical fire, possibly because of the chemicals that are in the beauty shop there in that strip mall complex. Again, this is a two-story older brick building on Jefferson Avenue that has been on fire now for most of the morning, and the front wall of that strip mall actually collapsed on top of a number of firefighters, injuring 6 that we know of. 4 of them are in critical condition at 2 different hospitals. 1 of them, fortunately, has been treated and released. But, you know, we will be keeping tabs of the evacuations in this area due to the smoke. You do see some flamage right there.
You can see it right now, too. A little bit. Michael was talking about that as well. And obviously a tough morning for the firefighters dealing with this. Sean talked about the Ozone Action Day. It's hot. It's humid. It looks like this is a very difficult situation with it obviously being upgraded to a chemical fire. And then, of course, just trying to breathe for people downtown. Obviously, no need to try to get as close as you can if you don't have to be downtown in that area, which is why the firefighters are moving everybody, including media. We are giving you the best shots that we can possibly get right now of that fire.
And we do want to mention that so many people were driving by when this happened at the time. We've spoken to a few of them on the phone, but if you have any pictures or video, please send them to us, WXYZ.com. We are going to air as many as we can, but right now, again, these are live pictures right near the building in question, possibly 2 structures on fire now. There is a vacant apartment complex next door, the Applegate Apartments, but we do want to to check in with Sean Ash, our meteorologist here in the mornings, because you were saying the fact that it is an ozone action day is probably going to impact the firefighting a bit, huh?
Well, you know, I mean, it was bad enough that the air quality was already bad across Metro Detroit. That's why we had the ozone action day. Now you tack on a large fire that's going to be dispersed in a very tiny area, because right now the wind is not very strong at all. It's from the east and northeast at about 3-4 miles per hour. So, and you can actually see, if we can pull that shot back out just a little bit, you can see the guys in the bucket there doing a heck of a job. They're battling the heat and humidity, but you can almost just see the smoke. It's not moving all that much. And if we can, guys, after this shot widens out, and you can see it's just sitting on the ground, it's not going very tall vertically. Go over to Doppler 7 Viper real quickly, because I want to kind of show in or dive in and give folks a heads up of where we think this plume may kind of drift a little bit, because as I dive in, and again, keep in mind this is on the east side, this is a visible satellite. We already had a low cloud deck, but as I play through time and get caught up to current speed, you can see, especially on the east side, we are really picking up the plume of smoke. And I dive in a little bit closer here, and I'm going to plot on the wind speed from the city airport, and that's running at about 5 miles per hour, about 5 miles per hour from the northeast. So Hamtramck and downtown Detroit, that might be flowing in that direction.
We do appreciate your coverage this morning, and we certainly are sending our thoughts out to the 6 injured firefighters that were battling this fire on Detroit's east side. They're on Jefferson Avenue. Again, Jefferson still closed between Alter and Dickerson.
And we want to thank the local business owners for taking water and supplies out to the firefighters who are there. Thanks for joining us here. We'll definitely keep you posted throughout the day.